They flagged down that rider for a simple violation of slippers, but based on his reaction, I'm guessing he's not going to be able to show a license. Look, he made the enforcer scratch his head. Usually it's the rider that scratches his head, so for sure that's a no license. And there you go, the enforcer just confirmed he cannot show a license and he cannot show any registration. That's why he called the towing crew to take the bike away. If he was wearing shoes, he never would have been flagged down. This rider has no shoes, no side mirrors, and an unauthorized crash helmet. No registration. I'm not sure about the license, I couldn't hear that bit. Maybe he sold the side mirrors to buy new wheels. Anyway, the enforcer just said he can't show a license either, so that's why the towing crew's here. No shoes, no proper helmet, no license, no registration, no side mirrors. And this tow truck is coming in now to pick up this one, parked on the corner. Look at this, again you have one side parking, but then look at what's been dumped on the wrong side. Right? This is what the repair shops do to this place. And this is actually the exact same area where a vehicle was dumped before, and residents kept complaining about it. I don't understand. In fact, this is the one that I was thinking of. I got a little bit confused because the streets are right next to each other. Actually, some residents came over and spoke to the team. They said they've been asking the barangay to remove this for a very long time. And until now, they've not taken any action. The residents are very angry about all the abandoned vehicles on this road.
Sir, karamihan po iba dyan. Iniiwan na lang dyan, hindi po namin alam kung may kaso po yung sasakyan na yun. Kasi parang iba karnap, sir eh.
Bakit hindi i-check sa police, QCPD?
Kaya pong kulang po namin.
So anong gagawin natin sa nakatira?
Papalisi pa, pull out na lang.
Pa-pull out nyo? Kailan natin pa-pull out yung nakatira?
Siguro ngayon po, sir.
Paalisin nyo na? O sige, paalisin nyo.
It should really be stipulated in one-side parking ordinances that broken and abandoned vehicles are considered to be illegally parked. It's pretty obvious when you look at the vehicles here that most likely they haven't moved in a long time. And in fact, many of them don't even have license plates attached. I know I keep saying it, but this is really what happens with those one-side parking ordinances. They become a dumping ground. And residents don't benefit from it, right? Who benefited? The businesses. Those who own a lot of cars that aren't being used. And allegedly, these houses and shops are actually built on the easement. So that could be another explanation for why the property owners around here are not very happy. That's the thing, sometimes there's a bit of space and then people just say, yoink, that's mine. Anyway, I cannot verify 100% what they're saying because I don't know this place, but if you look behind and see the grass, it's very believable that that's actually an easement.
Ang kinakatakot po, yan magiging ganon. Iaangat na lang sa bangketa yan, tapos gagawing bahay na naman. Tatanggalan ng gulong para hindi matanggal. Nakakasawa na eh. Ginagawa niyong ginagawa niyong tapunan eh.
So I don't know if you heard what Bong said, but basically he wants to tow this away before it becomes the same problem as what they already have over there, the one that all the residents are complaining about. Because once they remove all the wheels, you need special equipment, a crane or a heavy-duty forklift to remove these. People are getting nervous now, and they also want to try and move their vehicles.
So walang makina yan. O i-start mo. Sino yan?
Po yan eh.
Sino yan? Oh, retired ako.
Yan po mayari yan eh.
Oo ngayon.
Ginagawa po yan eh.
Ginagawa nyo.
Opo.
Bakit? Authorized ba kayong gumawa sa kalsada?
Pinawiringan lang po yan.
Oo. Tama ba yung ginagawa nyo? Tingnan mo ang flat na oh. Ba't wala kayong talyer? Wala kayong talyer?
Pero po sir, binabalan po dito.
Oo.
If you read the traffic management code of Quezon City, it actually considers any vehicle that doesn't move for 24 hours as abandoned. Now, in reality, most enforcers aren't going to be so strict that within 24 hours they say your vehicle is abandoned. But if it's sitting here like this, with flat tires, no plates, missing parts, so dusty, then obviously it's not being used. And people are complaining, residents are complaining. So it has to be removed. It's better if the barangay can handle this, but if not, the MMDA can do it. That guy that said he's going to come back and then start the engine, well, obviously he's not starting the engine. I don't think he could start it. Look, there's no lights either, but he did give the key so that it can be easier to put on the tow truck. And at the end of the day, if the enforcers don't do their job, they'll be the ones facing a complaint with the ombudsman. Because the residents are literally on the street saying, we've been asking the barangay to remove this, they haven't done it. So if MMDA don't do it either, they'll also be facing a case. Obviously MMDA can't be everywhere at once, but they do what they can. I'm just surprised how they were able to build these significant structures on the easement, if that allegation is true, which it does appear that it might be. That's not something that you just build overnight. That takes a long time, right? They were actually trying to put more stuff on the easement of this property, and then someone came out and told them, no, don't put it there, it's not your property. Because there's people living there, it really has to be handled by the LGU. They can't just demolish it on the spot. Maybe in the eyes of the barangay, they're helping people by allowing them to set up sari-sari stores and eateries and things like that, but if it's not the right place, you're making the other residents suffer, right? That's why it's really better to stop this from happening in the first place, because if you try and clear it later, it becomes kawawa. And the thing that just came to my mind is, where are they getting their electricity from? Because there's no electricity running to a sidewalk or to an easement. And I can see a white cable there. I'm not sure how well this will show on camera, but I can see the white cable there, and then it looks like there's some splits in other wires. So if you compare this to when the team first arrived, it's a lot better, right? How long can the barangay maintain this for? I'm not sure. The only thing that needs to be removed is that one over there, which the barangay said they'll take care of. I guess you can place your bets on whether or not that will happen. Let me know in the comment section. Good morning everyone, MMDA back on the road issuing tickets to illegally parked vehicles. This street has a one-side parking ordinance on the right side, but no parking allowed on the left side. So they issue tickets, and if the drivers don't come out in time, they'll be towed away. Now, of course, the one-side parking ordinance does not include the sidewalk. That's why the enforcer is standing at the front of this one, issuing a ticket. And I'm guessing this has been sitting on the sidewalk for a long time, because it's so dusty, and there's garbage all around it. And as you'll see here, you're walking along the sidewalk, then boom, it just disappears for these parked vehicles. So they're all being issued tickets. There's actually a total of 5 vehicles parked there obstructing the sidewalk. And of course, this is one of the problems with one-side parking ordinances. People use them as a dumping ground for abandoned or broken vehicles. And then the residents have nowhere to park, so they actually park on the wrong side. And a little further along, the enforcer wrote out tickets to both of these motorcycles parked on the sidewalk. You can see actually the business have also extended over the sidewalk with all of the stuff they're selling, all the car parts. 2 more motorcycles being ticketed over there. Obviously they're parked on the wrong side of the road. I think that most people who got their license through the correct process know you're not allowed to park on the corner. Most of these, honestly, they look like junk, so they're probably here for repair. In fact, looking at the condition of many of these vehicles, I think a lot of them are here for repair. That's why a lot of residents keep complaining about one-side parking ordinances, because they were designed to provide temporary come and go parking for residents, but became a dumping ground for businesses that want to fix vehicles. They just flagged down this rider. Both the driver and passenger are not wearing helmets, plus they're wearing slippers. I agree. Dilag lang sa kalam talaga. In fact, over here, this is another vehicle for repair. I saw them working on the wheels earlier, and now they're buffing the front. So the one-side parking became a business area, not a residential parking. There's one of the vehicles you saw obstructing the sidewalk earlier. It's already been picked up by the tow truck, and they go through one by one, clearing them all. I expect there's no owner here because most of them are here for repair. And then the businesses are just using the sidewalk. Obviously, it's not the right place. You might save money bringing your vehicle to a place like this, but the risk is it gets towed away because the business owner doesn't have any parking. The towing crew are actually going the extra mile for this. They're jacking it up at the front so they can get their tow bar underneath. And then they'll lift it up and take it away. And that'll be one piece of sidewalk clear again. It did take a little bit of work, but they got it up, and that will go to Tomana in Marikina City. Looks like they're still hooking up to the one behind. There goes another vehicle that I saw obstructing the sidewalk earlier. I think that was also parked for repair. The problem they're having with this one is it won't disengage. So they're literally having to carry it to the tow truck. They had the same problem with that MC. The back wheel is locked. They can't get it to disengage. Bear in mind, these guys impound cars, motorcycles, tricycles every day. They know what they're doing. But that's probably why they're parked on the corner for repair. That one would be fun to ride, wouldn't it? You just steer it by kicking the front tire with your feet. This one is not only obstructing the sidewalk, but also the road itself. You see the towing crew already hooking up at the back. Again, it looks like it's parked in front of a repair shop. That rider is a double whammy. Unauthorized helmet and slippers. That's a total of 3,500 pesos. Very expensive. I didn't see exactly where this one was parked, but the enforcer said it was parked on the side that's not allowing parking, and that's why it went up on the tow truck. When they first tried to flag that rider down, he didn't stop. That's why other enforcers ran over, because although I didn't capture it on camera, around 15 minutes ago, there was another rider that refused to stop, and allegedly, he ended up on the ground, still trying to rev the engine to escape with the bike on its side. And the reason why he was trying so hard to escape is because he didn't have a license. So that's why the motorcycle ended up being impounded. Anyway, the reason why they stopped that rider is because both the driver and passenger are wearing slippers, and then the passenger doesn't have a helmet. Right now they're issuing tickets to illegally parked vehicles on 20th Avenue. If the drivers don't come out in time, they'll be brought up on the tow trucks and taken to Tomana in Marikina City. You'll see this one here is even obstructing the PWD ramp. The towing crew are walking around making their own video that will document any damage on this vehicle, so that if there's a complaint later, voila, nah, it's all documented. Pretty close to Tomana, so the towing fee won't be too expensive, but they'll still feel it a lot more than a regular ticket, which is only 1,000 pesos. And up goes the white one now. That lady there holding the baby just greeted Bong. She's the one that we met before. She was inside the cart and she just gave birth, like on that day or the night before. It's already getting big. All along this street you'll see signs that say no parking both sides. There's a lot of vehicles parked here. And it's not just in the road, even the sidewalk's been conquered. That's why people are rushing out to try and move their motorcycles before they get ticketed. Well, I guess it's really impossible that you wouldn't see all the no parking signs. And the majority of what you're seeing here is residential parking. It's not for businesses or anything like that. Not only are you not allowed to park on this road, but you're certainly not allowed to park on a corner. The towing crew have already hooked up at the front and they're about to lift this up and take it away. When you park on a corner, it causes a headache for everyone that wants to turn into the street or out of the street. There's actually a lot of vehicles being ticketed along here. Of course, after being ticketed, they are told to leave the area. You can't just take a ticket and then stay here. Aside from the signs of MMDA, there are signs here which I assume are from the barangay. Personally, I'm not a fan of tarpaulin signs. I think they look unprofessional and cause doubt about whether they're even legitimate, but they are here nonetheless. More vehicles over here being ticketed and towed. My goodness, that's a lot. In one street, a lot. A lot of people say, I don't have any other option. Well, you do, you just don't like the option because most people don't want to give up living space for parking space, right? I must admit though, some of these properties are really nice. Look at that, beautiful. I really like that. And there goes one of the cars we saw earlier. You'll see some people even painted their gates, no parking, RA 4136. Basically, you're not allowed to obstruct someone's private driveway, access to their property for parking, etc. But a lot of people do it every day. In fact, just yesterday on another street around this area, there was a guy that parked 2 cars in front of his neighbor's gate. One of them got towed, and then one of them he was able to drive away with just a ticket. But it just makes you wonder, what makes you feel like it's okay to obstruct your neighbor's gate with 2 cars? And here's something I haven't seen before. Someone has spray painted an advert on the sidewalk for a pharmacy. How can you do that to public property? Just spray paint it. This is interesting. It basically says you're a person, not a dog, so don't pee here. And there's a lot of signs like this around that say don't pee here, don't put your garbage here. You would think people would know better, but yeah. What you'll notice here is that all of the vehicles are parallel parked so they don't obstruct the sidewalk, except for that one over there which is going on the tow truck. If you're wondering why the towing crew is standing on the wire, that's to make sure that it won't rub against the back of the bumper. They only need to do that when it's first being pulled onto the tow truck because of the angle. After that, he can jump off if he wants. This truck is parked on the sidewalk. It has been ticketed before by the MMDA, and they actually told them to stop using the MMDA placard in their windscreen because they are not part of MMDA. They're just a contractor for a government project. I'm not even sure if it's an MMDA project, to be honest. This is one of the things that always amazes me, when people paint lines over the sidewalk to try and make it into a parking area. That doesn't legalize it. And remember, these are not people visiting nearby businesses. This is residential overnight parking. The businesses aren't even open yet. So everyone trying to go to work, or the pedestrians or the commuters, they're forced to walk in the road. That's why it amazes me when people say it's anti-poor to ticket and tow illegally parked vehicles. How is it anti-poor when it actually affects commuters and pedestrians more than most people, especially if they're parked on the sidewalk? I could be wrong, but based on what I heard, I think they're living above the businesses here. If they parallel parked, they could fit without obstructing the sidewalk. Just like this one over here, because it's parked obstructing the sidewalk, the pedestrians are forced into the road. The tow truck's already hooking up to this, getting ready to remove it. And actually it's the same thing happening on the other side of the road. They're pulling this one onto the tow truck. I can't be sure if this is residential or if it's here for repair, because there's always vehicles parked on the sidewalk and road around this general area that are being repaired. There's actually a license plate on the front of this vehicle, but it's so hard to read because they put a tinted cover. That's why LTO wants to ban covers, because people do things like that. They put a dark tint so you can't actually read the plate number. There was an older lady that came out a few moments ago. She thanked the team for clearing the road of illegally parked vehicles. She said people were so stubborn. That's the reality. A lot of the people who say to remove MMDA, abolish MMDA, it's because they're used to being illegally parked. They're used to occupying the sidewalk. They're used to extending their property into the road, right? And they don't like the MMDA apprehend them. But the neighbors, other residents, they come out and they thank the team because they're tired of that kind of nonsense.